My sister dropped it a couple years back. It was lost. I decided to try to revive it and purchased this kit. Luckily the internal structures were intact and I was able to fix it up. This kit had almost everything. The only parts missing were these things to connect the top screw piece and the bottom piece together, but I managed to salvage them from the original so we could open and close it. Other than that, it looks amazing. Thank you. Great replacement. Only issue I had was the snap hinges weren't as crisp as they were before I removed them. Still a great product though at a cheap price. Looks great and wasn't too bad to assemble. I would recommend using your own screwdrivers because the ones provided were more slippery than I was comfortable with. Also the screw that goes underneath the battery didn't fit well, so I used my original one. Great product. My Gameboy looks so much better. Mostly a great purchase, all parts included, everything was in great condition. However, I'm concerned that the shell might be molded improperly. These aftermarket shells are notorious for being tricky with the GBA SP hinges, but mine won't seem to work no matter what I try. Could be my bad, could be that the shell isn't molded well. I've heard that happens sometimes. Might buy another one to see if another shell works better. Use this to repair a Gameboy which had absolutely seen better days. The case functions and the kit came with all the screwdrivers. The caps for the battery and charging LEDs are cut quite a bit less accurately, as well as the caps for the hinges on the sides, which won't go in fully without the plastic decorating. It did its job and replaced the console nearly in 2 pieces. Everything fit together perfectly. One side is the original case that I've had since I could remember and the other is the new one. There are very slight differences, mainly the sticker and the font, but nobody would notice if it weren't side by side or brought up. There are only 2 things that bothered me, but totally weren't deal breakers. 1. The rubber parts on the inside of the case weren't sticky, so I used a glue stick to throw them in. And 2. When I screwed in the screws around the speaker, it made the plastic bulge. I tried not doing it so tight before, but the lack of pressure made it not work, so I really had no choice. Other than that, I am so happy not to have my toddler teeth marks on my GBA anymore. If you're trying to repair your GBA SP or want a different color, this is a good way to go. The casing of mine had fallen completely apart, and I bought this to revive the hardware. My only real complaints is that one of the major screw holes on mine was blocked. You'll have to drill it out later, and that the replacement power switch is pretty bad. Outside of that, it works well, and comes with all of case screws, tools, and replacement parts you need. This was my first tray shell experience. I didn't go over the case with a fine-tooth comb before I put it together, so I can't be certain I didn't create a couple minor blemishes in the case on the top half, but I don't quite see how I would have either. Overall, everything fits together really well, and looks really good. The case seems sturdy. I reused the OEM screws because I figured they were better quality, and I'm not convinced I was provided all the correct screws anyway. The screwdrivers worked great, and I needed the tri-tip one anyway. I also reused the light pipe for the power/charge light as the OEM was clearer plastic. I used the included buttons, which I wasn't going to, but they looked really good, so figured why not. I didn't end up changing the screen protector, but it was a shade of gray off and lettering was slightly different. If my screen would have been scratched, I would have not hesitated to use it though. The hinges are a pain to install, and get set all the way back in. If your hinge caps aren't set flush into the frame, or the screen won't hold itself up, go back and make sure the 2 tabs at the inside end of the hinges come all the way through. Everything has to line up for this to happen. That was the only thing I had to go back and redo. That ribbon cable is a pain to work with in general though. Overall it went really well, and I'm very happy with the end result. I'll try this brand again if I decide to make a hobby of this. I'm very happy with the product that I purchased. It was packaged perfectly and all of the replacement stickers were contained in the package. I was very surprised by that. I took my Game Boy over to play it in Trade Video Game Store, and had my friend Jesse replace the outer shell and it came out very well. The item I purchased was very good for the amount of money that I paid. I use the new shell every day and I really like it. It is a bit thinner than the original case but not by much. It came with all the parts, and was packed in its own little box. Prime was also A+ tongue. Click link in description for more reviews.